Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for September 24th through 27th, 2021. Wow, are you feeling the pressure, the energy shift, the energy changes for seriously this last decade, thousands of years, ages? We've been knowing that huge energetic changes, spiritual ascension, higher frequency vibration, big earth changes, all the stuff's supposed to happen, right? And really, the astrology of this last decade has been about, okay, so energetic changes. We know that first vibrational shifts changes. First was the word, then the form. And just like in homeopathic treatment, any true healing, there's the shift of energy, say, like in acupuncture, and then the body's response, the body's healing response. And we've been in a healing crisis for quite a while. But this astrology is saying the remedy has been given and the light is returning. It's here. And so now, so this whole last decade, back through back 2011, 2012, we had a square with Pluto and Uranus. And this is about the changes that need to occur for that in our physical world, our manifest world, that represent the energetic changes. And this is what we're feeling right now in this current astrology. It's like the pressure and desire for change and the change that's already happened energetically coming up against the structures of this world that have been holding on for dear life. The old dinosaur structures that are no longer serving us. And we're at a critical point and a critical mass. The tables are turning. So the next 3 months are about this. And this is the deal. If you really study dimensional shifts and ascension and whatever, different dimensional frequencies are represented by a 90-degree turn, right? So it's like you're going along in one vibration, and then when you switch dimensions, it's a 90-degree turn. That's the step of the pyramid. And so at some point, you've got to make that turn, right? And this is exactly the shift of ages, right? We're going from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. And it's such a mystery of astrology when we look at the energies of the astrological signs. And at the beginning of an astrological sign, you'll have a bloom of that energy. And at the end, you'll have a bloom. So wait a minute. There's a bloom. So there's a bloom of the Piscean age before we move into the Aquarian age. And then there's a bloom of the Aquarian age. And because every sign, this is a deep, deep mysteries of astrology. We only have like the scratching the surface of understanding about what the planets and stars are telling us. And each sign has a very different energy, right? There's a masculine, feminine, and different elements, right? Fire, air, water, whatever. So there's a point that comes, and that's why the cusp is so mysterious, right? Because the cusp is like, you can't really be a little of one and a little of the other. You can't really actually be a little Piscean age and a little Aquarian age. Ultimately, that's just not how the universe works or whatever it is we're in. And so we're at this point where we're falling off the edge in our old reality. This is, we're feeling this supernova souls. You're feeling this personally in your life, right? Where the old way can't support you in the new energy. Now, this is the key to this time. And we've just had our equinox, and this period of time between equinox and the solstice, incredibly crucial. This is the turning point. This is the critical mass. This is where we commit and can't go back to the higher frequency vibrations. Now, the evidence of this is being shown in our lives with this feeling. I'm sure you're feeling it, where you're like, am I even on the same planet with these people? That's when that logical thinking conversation just isn't possible. and maybe it's time for us to stop. Part of the transitionary period that we're in is about establishing the higher vibrational frequencies, and then the other timelines or that's not quite committed to that are over there, and we've been reaching out our hand saying, hey, you want to come over on this? Come over here, try it over here. You want a red pill? Check it out, but don't beat your head against the wall with people that can't hear you, because that's a waste of time and your precious, precious energy. Because right now we are being asked to go ahead and make that choice for ourselves, give ourselves permission to fully establish in this other frequency vibration. And so the role, part of it's a really important role in understanding that if you can't communicate and you're not connecting with those people around you, they are on a different planet. They are in a different dimension. And and it's weird and lonely and scary, right? And that's part of the programming. It's a too long a story for right now, but we've all been programmed. If you've been a spiritual initiate, if you've come here for a higher spiritual purpose and you're on the path of this supernova soul experience, you have experienced that there's a narrative, ancient narrative that was created around spiritual ascension and initiation that says that if you raise your frequency and you go ahead and make that step, you'll be all alone, floating out there in the universe, nobody else around. And that's just ridiculous, but it's literally the program. So it's kind of cool if you can identify that. And that's from failed initiation rituals, sabotaged initiation rituals from ancient Egypt. So now this energy, so what now, it's like when you have that experience of like, whoa, I'm on a completely different planet than these people. That's your clue to say, okay, now you know what you're here to do. Now you know it's time to choose deliberately in every moment of every day, the light, the way, the truth, right? To be fully present with and claim. Now this is everything, because we've got Venus exactly opposite Uranus, finishing up this fixed T-square with the big player planets that are defining the energy of 2021. What do we need to do to build in the Aquarian age, right? What do we need to do to make this shift? What do we need to do to get to that turning point of the tables turning? That there's definitely the energy of, I'm seeing two tarot cards just kind of pop out at me from the deck, like the Tower card, when everything you thought is like built on a foundation that doesn't actually fit who you are, right? And we've all been going through this. Now you understand why your life has been in this stage for the last years, right? And then there's that critical mass, that turning point, the no going back, and the Fool, right? Being willing to get to that 0 point, let go of everything that doesn't resonate, and commit fully to this. Now, this is what we're being asked to do. But Venus opposite Uranus. Uranus represents the revolution of wealth. Uranus is higher frequency vibration. It's the ruler of Aquarius. It's ancient wisdom, future technology, technology that has been kept from us, and that Venus is our self-worth. And Scorpio, she's down in the depths. She's like, I'm ready to clean it up. I don't want to stay here anymore. And then Uranus says, well, do you deserve it though? This is the turning point for so many of us, which it might not make sense logically, but it's like there's deep program. Maybe this goes back to those ancient Egyptian stories where you dedicated your whole life to spiritual ascension and then you so-called failed at the end. And now you feel like you're not worthy, And it's a bunch of bull crap, because the truth is that you were a full initiate before you ever came into this evolution. And you let them take that identity, that story, that power from you through the false lies. And, it's at the point where all true, all must be revealed, all lies revealed. And this is the turning point. The turning point is a complete release of the old. It's the free fall into the new. It's an absolute commitment into your vibrational frequency and resonance, because that's more real, more true than anything of this manifested Maya bullshit around us, So we're coming to that turning point. But Venus opposite Uranus says, well, yeah, but Okay, so the turning of the tables means that we are trying to move into our golden age, the Aquarian age, and the higher octave of the Aquarian age is a golden age. We've already done the lower octave. That was in Atlantean time. Now we need to reap the rewards, right? But do you deserve it? Like, can you go from poverty consciousness? We're all living in just by existing here, we're denying our truth as spiritual beings, and it's like this poverty. And this is what Venus rules. It's like our self-worth and our value system as the ruler of Taurus, right? So Venus is opposite her home, and Uranus is there activating, challenging. And the big challenge is like, okay, say the table's turned and this abundance wants to come into your life, your own abundance, but literally the representation of energetic and spiritual abundance in a physical abundance. And it's like, do you deserve that? Are you worthy of the golden age? This is what this astrology is saying. We got to get down to the depths. Maybe we need to go to ancient Egypt and get these stories unraveled. Where did you buy into that you don't deserve your own spiritual evolution when the definition of a supernova soul is that you were already have gone through spiritual ascension before you came here. You've already had these experiences, right? This is the truth of who we are in our soul. We let them steal it from us and wipe our memory. Except for that, all of this story back to Atlantean time has been contrived, mechanical. The source, the devil is artificial intelligence, ultimately manifest. And it's like mechanisms to try to stop, block, and hold back, and nothing can stop it. We can feel we've gotten to this point, and the pressure of the awakening, of the aware awakening souls, and then the structures of our world just absolutely not representing that, and that house of cards has got to fall. Right? And energetically, today, this astrology, we've gotten to the tipping point. This is what this is saying. So the message is, are you worthy enough? Can you deserve and know, it's like that's just a whole bullshit construct, right? But it's like, can you allow yourself to receive the abundance that is yours, your true abundance? And that comes through giving yourself permission to establish in a higher frequency vibration, to come home spiritually to who you are. And don't worry about them, right? It's like we're all here held in the arms of our beloved, and everybody has the opportunity, but you must claim this for yourself. Okay, so a huge message around where you've been holding yourself back out of loyalty contracts to other souls. We've all got to make our choice, right? Like, you can't be part way. You can't be a little of this, a little of that, And so we're being asked to make that choice. And of course, supernova souls, you already made your choice, which is maybe why they've tried to pull you so dark down, in the targeting and attack of these souls. But nothing can stop it. And the deal is that as advanced souls, a lot of us we've chosen to go to the depths. This is what's coming up with this Venus and Scorpio. It's a very sensitive place. It's a very emotional, very sensitive place. Where we've gone far. We're all the prodigal son. We all had to walk far away from our truth and our light. We all had to go deep into the depths of what humanity, the farthest that humanity needed to go into the darkness. We volunteered to go there too. Now, if you're going to let that hold you back from your destiny as the light shining as truth, then you got it all wrong. You got off completely and went wherever you had to go to experience whatever you had to go, because you need to have compassion to really know. You can't help somebody if it's just like walk a mile in their shoes. You know what I mean? So go ahead and let all of your experiences that seemed like where you got off your path and you thought you didn't deserve God and, disconnection, this illusion of separation, and let that validate the path of your soul, the strength of your soul, and the destiny of your soul in this incredibly powerful time, right here, right now. This is this cleansing, this great cleansing. That's really what the Great Awakening is. And ego, we're cleansing our ego constructs, personality constructs from past lives, attachments, and all that. And it's not fun. It's very vulnerable. This is definitely Venus and Scorpio. But where are those ego constructs attached to low self-worth? Like, that's really what needs to be cleansed and healed. And the prodigal son was received back with celebration, because that prodigal son has no doubt where his home is now. We're all coming home. And what if the only thing that's keeping you from the fullness of who you are and the abundance of who you are is this weird distortion, it's like, I see it in the DNA. It's like a worm, a little black snake in the DNA. And it says, you're not worthy of that. It's like, I am that. I am that. And I am going to live that. This part of coming out of the abusive relationship we've been in with our controllers, is taking back our power. And then, of course, we get that message like, you can't survive without us. That's literally when you go and break your authority contracts in the programming, it'll be like, no, you need this to keep you safe. You can't, you need us. And it's like, no, I don't need you. Because now I know I have my direct connection. This is all about our God-given right, direct connection to source energy right here as particles of God consciousness. So the challenge right now is to give yourself permission to claim your higher frequency vibration. Let all those old stories fall away. The energy of feeling like you don't deserve, or you didn't do it right, or you failed, that's what keeps us like, it's like the sacrifice energy, that there's something that you got to make up for something. Something is required. You got to earn or deserve it. This is all the bullshit paradigm of the structured religion that's kept us under control. So, really, really powerful time. And this is absolutely represented in the exact square right now between Mercury and Pluto. We're just days away from Mercury turning retrograde on the 27th. And in an exact square with Pluto just before that and just after. So they stay just within a degree for within a couple of degrees for almost 3 whole weeks. And we're in it right now. We've just had our exact, today, it's still exact square. And it's, this is what I'm feeling like, this coming up against the structures of authority and power, and the desire for real change, right? Like, we feel the energy changes, right? Like, and now it's like we're pushing, I can feel advanced souls, people who are living in truth and are exploring in deeper truths. It's like, there's this incredible pressure, like we're kind of banging up against the firmament and the contrived reality and being like, okay, so this Piscean age, the Pisces energy, and Neptune in Pisces is giving us the bloom of the Piscean energy. And part of the deal with that is that Pisces is the oneness consciousness, but it's also like that dreams, visions, and spiritual, psychic energy and spiritual connection, understanding. And there's this great duplicity, so when you're working in the energy of pictures and psychic energies and that thing, then you're also working with delusions, right? It's like you got to get through the delusions to get to the truth. And that's exactly the Piscean age, where up is down, left is right, good is bad, and to get you so confused, that you don't even know up from down. And so we're in a bloom of this, and I have to speak to this, that maybe part of what we're feeling right now, I know I am, is a weariness, and I feel it in supernova. So it's like a weariness, a deep, just like enough already of all the lies and deception, And where have you been living lies and deception? Where have you bought into? Where have you allowed the people around you to make you out to be a lie again and again? And you haven't been able to stand up for yourself because you had to survive, And it's just this weariness with all the lies in our world, all the deception. But this is exactly the turning of the tables where all is revealed and there can't be any lies. This is the deal. We're getting more and more as we get in our spiritual evolution, as we evolve, we get more and more sensitive, which means we get more and more psychic. We get more and more aware, and so we can't go into the golden age with a whole bunch of deception, which means we've got to, what we need to face, what humanity needs to face, and all of us, even if you think you know the truth, you've researched all this stuff, apparently we're still going to get our minds blown, every single one of us. That's exactly this fool jumping off the cliff and the tower. And, it's time to just completely let go of everything that's not in alignment. And so what we're being asked to do in this astrology is to make that choice. We're the tipping point. We're the critical mass. We know we're there. And it's like giving yourself permission to establish fully and completely in the yes, in the I am, in the I know this is the only reason I came. Let's get on with the program. And I'm ready to let go of whatever's in the way because I know I'm here to be there. And then we're going to bring there here, heaven on earth. And so everything right now is about contractual arrangements on every level that are keeping you, loyalty contracts, that's what we call, keeping you from giving yourself full permission and feeling worthy. It's like, how can you leave them behind? It's like, we're not leaving anybody behind, but some of us are here to lead the way. Now get off your ass and stand in the light of your truth. I'm not saying there's a whole bunch of confusion right now. It's really hard because there's this message like, we got to wake the people up. We got to stand up. We got to do, it's like, oh my God, for lifetimes, I've been trying my best against this monster. And we all have been. And it's like, when is that going to be validated? And I'm going to just validate right here for you because I see it. I know it. I've read Supernova Past Lives. And your devotion is unwaverable. And perhaps that also means that your soul, what I've seen is that because of your prior experience, yeah, you went to the depths. Yeah, you had to be the prodigal son. Yeah, you had to go into the darkness. But that, and then all of us have been blamed and shamed in the smear campaign, right? That's like the classic narcissist playbook. But that shit don't stick, right? You have a purified soul essence. And maybe that's the abundance, this baby Jesus and all of us, the pure light of your soul. Yeah, you went through all this to be here right now and be the light and come back home. The prodigal son kind of felt probably a little shameful walking back to his father's house. But he was met with celebration because he came home and he came home whole and complete, and he came home with absolute conviction. And he didn't care about the smear campaign, and he didn't care about the mudslinging, because that's exactly what's falling away. It is like a mudslide, this dissolving of our ego constructs, right? And maybe that's that thing. It's like we associate ego with self-importance, but ego can also be attachment to low self-worth, right? So what we're talking about dissolving here is personality constructs from past lives that have not yet been resolved. Because it's like, how can we fold all the timelines into one if you're still existing? Part of you's over here trying to solve a problem, finish what you started. It's like, okay, everybody home now, right? We've had the message, all the masters that are possibly can have a body, can still have a body, can be in a body, are here embodied right now on Earth. We're all here. And so something's happening, right? Now, really powerful energy because we've got this exact trine between Saturn at 7 degrees Aquarius, building in the new age, new rules, new laws. What in the heck are we doing here? The free fall feeling, right? And then, but in trine to Black Moon Lilith in Gemini. So an air trine energy speaking to the new Renaissance, the golden age, the lifting and lighting the load of humanity. And that load has everything to do, no matter what your path is and where you are, the load that we're carrying is the shame that we've been programmed with, the lowly worm. And it's like, no, maybe silkworm, creating magical material. But anyway, this trine with Gemini, Black Moon Lilith. Gemini is about bringing things to voice and expression and facing the duality within and using that duality to overcome duality. And so it's just the spotlight is on the dark black stain. It's interesting because Samuel Hahnemann, who was founder of homeopathy, he developed this miasmatic theory, which really fits, but it's like the disease layers that through history of suppressed disease created different energies. And he called these miasms, which miasma means stain. And then the message that's coming through right now is that there's nothing that can't be cleaned. Especially for you, supernova soul, because that shit don't stick. So this is everything. And now Mars coming into that trine. So a grand air trine at 7 degrees, 777. And this is representing the energy of Christ consciousness, and a triangle and an air trine, that new Renaissance. So the age of Aquarius is really the age of Christ consciousness. And we're turning the wheel into that energy, which is like we saw, there's a 90-degree turn involved. So Mars comes into this, Mars in Libra. Mars in Libra is the art of war, fighting without fighting, how to use conflict to create healing and peace. It's the Jedi, energy. And so really powerful with Mars in Libra and Mercury retrograde in Libra. And Mars in Libra coming to that 7-degree mark this weekend. Sunday, Monday, 26th, 27th, just as Mercury turns retrograde. So it means that this Mercury retrograde, the next 3 weeks of Mercury retrograde, is a journey back in time to bring us true justice through the art of war and move us into and truth, healing, tables turned, the great revealing, the revelation. And then so that we can move forward. Now, it's powerful that Mercury and Jupiter turning direct represents the return of the king. And so Jupiter and Mercury turn direct on the same day, October 18th. And so we have to go back in time. So it feels like maybe there's going to be a systematic, or I don't know. I feel like this Mercury retrograde is like, we've already seen every day more truth just bubbling to the surface. Of course, the normies are still just buying into the bull crap that's being fed in the news feed, right? Which is serving its purpose, right? We have to understand that there's a way bigger plan. We're in God's plan, and we don't get to know the plan because we're secret agents, And so we gotta just it's like choosing your frequency, claiming your higher frequency, claiming your joy, claiming your abundance, and the claiming of the truth and light, claiming that the tables are turning, claiming the new age, the golden age, and allowing it to play out. Like it's like stepping back and holding the container, that holy grail, these advanced souls holding this container of light. But it's like this is what this time is about for us. Is saying you can't be part way here, part way there. And if you're down trying to save someone and bring them to where you're at, You're part way, see? And we got to claim it for ourselves. We got to feel worthy. We got to step into this light and every moment of every day live in this truth. The rebirth of Christ consciousness right there in your heart. And you are here to play this role. Can you claim it? You know, do you deserve it? Or is there something you need to prove or do, you know? And what if nothing is required? Here you are, you made it. So it's really intense because the south node, Mars just triggered the north node, right? It's in trine with the north node, sextile the south node. And the south node and the north nodes have made it to 3 degrees. 3 degrees left in this journey of the north node in Gemini, south node, Sagittarius. And that goes exactly to the end of the year. It's all lining up, you know? And but the south node Sag is like this feeling of like something you didn't complete, your mission, your purpose from a past life. And that's exactly these personality constructs, right? And this is that spiritual ego thing that's like, I got to prove again, you got to prove yourself, you got to do something. And it's just like, oh my gosh. But it's so understandable because you've been in a vacuum, completely invalidated in your spiritual truth. Now you're being asked to step up to the plate and play your role, you know? So see, it's like, ooh, spiritual ego death, which is totally a new level of dissolving. And it's happening really rapidly. So just be gentle with yourself, love yourself, study that story of the prodigal son, and understand that, we got to let it all go and just come home now. Right? It's like the fool is jumping off the edge. He's just cruising along, and there's a cliff coming, but it's okay because he's got his faith, his trust. He's at 0 point. He's not playing any games in the duality bullshit. He's got a very light knapsack, right? Just very light, little bit, just what he needs, He's got an animal friend with him, and he's just not scared of the cliff, right? So this is where we need to be in this choosing the truth of who we are, even though that doesn't really make sense completely yet, but still every moment of every day. And this is what we're being asked to do, kind of a constant vigil of this, holding the vibrational frequency of Christ consciousness and the truth of Christ consciousness. And we don't have to know exactly what that means again, but just like saying yes to that in every situation, saying yes to that, like speak my words through me, thy words through me. Let me be thy instrument of thy will, which is your true will too, right? Because the prodigal son went away, but he was home first, So we've been in a place of like, but does home really exist? And I don't know. And maybe I'm just trapped here forever. And just, it's like, So remember that home, you've already been home. This is the definition of a supernova soul. And there's a celebration waiting for you, no matter what you've been through, total compassion, because now you're home again, but you were home already. So you've got that soul memory. This is what's triggering and supporting us in claiming and establishing this higher frequency vibration. We have the critical mass. And now it's like, I'm seeing that turning of the wheel like a Ferris wheel, and it's like we're getting to the top and enough of us are on the train, And as things start happening, it's going to be very rapid, truth coming out, and you're going to be finding yourself in a full validation and recognition of who you are as a soul and what you've been through and what you're here to do. It's just slamming home everything. It's like your own abundance, because it's time to hit the ground running and play your role in living and breathing this truth, claiming this higher frequency vibration, and stabilizing the ship, right? We have a beautiful thing, actually, of these different timelines existing at one time, because we can work with that timeline, but we can't do it from down there, right? You can't solve a problem at the same level of frequency it was created, right? And that's where it comes full circle back to what we were talking about at the beginning, that it's all about us claiming our right in the sun, in the light of the sun, of the SON, right? And just doing the vigil, coming home as much as you can. Time doesn't exist anymore. Have you felt it? You know? And so what are we doing with our time? And no matter what you're doing, what if you come from this place? And it's like constant self-validation. It's not the ego validation. It's validation of who you are as a soul, what you've been through, why it's been so hard. And now it's like you've gone through lifetimes without any validation because they didn't want you to know who you are. That's why you're the only one awake in your island. And now it's like massive validation is about to come because you're being asked to play your role. And you can't play your role without coming into your gifts. So Superman, you know, and busting out. So that's that ego death and that dissolving, you know, so we can come back into and claim. And how can you work with your abundance and share and play a role here if you don't feel like you deserve it, right? So really powerful energies working here. Again, just so many messages. It's kind of overwhelming. So if you can bring it back to that core place, almost like it's like you're being asked, this next couple of months in this revealing for you is like a mission statement or, you know, a rebranding. Maybe that can help. You could find a mantra or like, this is, you know, it's like, I'm not playing out any of this bullshit anymore because I'm coming from this place, and just a way to, you know, some little activity you do regularly, or, you know, but something that can help you, remind you, you know, find your mantra, find your truth, find this place that can, you can, you know, the art of war. It's like taking the energy, because everything's energy, right? You know, and so you kind of look at like a chi, you know, just take like a battle between Jedi warriors and like slow it down, right? And the energy is coming, say, from the aggressor, the dark side, the fight against the light. And you know, what if instead of being like, we've all been like, well, oh, you know, like, but what we're being shown in playing out, and it'll become more and more, is this really deeper truths. You could study the art of war all day and never get this piece, you know, but it's taking the energy of that attack, you know, which I could see a metaphor with homeopathy, because homeopathy is putting a label on the energy of the vibrational frequency and then using that same energy, right? Like some of the most powerful remedies in homeopathy are poison, right? So you're like taking the energy of that attack and using the energy of the attack to turn it back, turn it into healing, you know, turn it back on so that the enemy destroys itself. And then you don't have to go to battle, right? So part of the shift and allowing ourselves to be here is getting out of the battle and into the win. So there's definitely a lot of messages that the war has been won, but the multi-headed monster is still writhing and causing all kind of damage. And it's like that covert narcissist that's willing to take down the whole ship in order to punish you too. You know, self-destruction is worth the cost if you go down with them. Does this fit? Is this what's happening? What is the energy that keeps pulling you back into that other timeline? I'll tell you what it feels like there, completely alone, because you are. And so it's just a radical shift in our awareness, who we are, why we're here. And that can help us, that validation, self-validation, to give ourselves permission to exist in the world, to go home where the energies support us in this higher frequency vibration. It's going from, you know, what came through in the soul group session was this picture of like taking a step in our life and then seeing that it's like a crumbling foundation, and you're taking a step and it's going, right? It can't hold you anymore. And then taking a step in the right direction, which is the truth, the light, the way, Christ consciousness. Um, and it's like buoyed. It's like walking on water, It's like plasma. And this is definitely the messages we've gotten throughout the activations, of that we are the 3D way of connecting to earth energy was like tethering to a rock in a way, and this is like Gaia consciousness in 5D is like the mother is just up, she's just growing up and around you. She's enveloping you and holding you and walking with you. And that really fits this, like, so maybe we're in this place of like, you're kind of tentatively taking that step because all the steps you've taken for the last couple of years, I mean, it seems like as supernova soul, it's got that feeling of like, this can't hold me. And then it's this feeling of like, nothing is working, right? Because nothing's going to work for us in 3D anymore. We've already gotten the remedy. It's already started. We can't, nothing can stop it. So let's get on the train together and celebrate. And what if you being there is the best way to bring along everyone you feel guilty about leaving behind? The only way to bring them with you, right? So tables turned, we won, and let's keep winning by giving ourselves full permission to be in our abundant love of truth. So have a wonderful weekend, celebration. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Stay very present with these energies. We're in the portal. We're in the turning point. It's 3 months of rearranging. And so thank you so much for being here and being you and being true. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.